Okay, thank you very much, Sheeta. Welcome to our Wednesday meeting. Today's June 16th. It's now time for our weekly Naples Mac user group meeting. We welcome all of our members from all over the world and throughout the United States and Canada. Our Naples Mac user group meetings are each and every Wednesday until June 30th, which is in about a week. And then we resume again on September 1st. We'll be off for 2 months and we resume again on September 1st. All meetings are from 11:30 a.m. to 12:45 p.m. You must be a member of the Naples Mac user group or an invited guest of the Naples Mac user group to attend our Zoom meetings. And that's for security purposes. Naples Mac user group has 42 of these meetings a year. We are very proud that we have about 15 other Mac user group members that belong to our group. And these are people that belong to other Mac user groups around the world, and they have also joined in with us. And that's an availability that's available to anyone throughout the world. I would also like to invite you to visit our new website. We're extremely proud of it. Jenna Cox is the developer. Jenna lives in England, and Mike Kwasniak, one of our board members and members, also from England, manages the site. This is just an example of our calendar for the meetings, which you can find on our website. Anything you want to know about anything that's going on in the Mac user group is available on our website. So I encourage everyone to visit it. Next week's meeting, which is our last meeting of June and the meeting right before our break, will be on WWDC 21 by Mitch Byers and Jeff Bohr. And this should be a very, very exciting meeting. Mitch made a presentation at a meeting we were at the other night, and he did a phenomenal job. You guys will really enjoy this meeting, so make sure you plan on attending our last meeting of the week of June. Okay, today is the big meeting on Tesla. This is a meeting that's a little unusual for us to have, but the Tesla is such a great invention and a phenomenon that we have to talk about. And today, Wayne, and I believe with the help of Eckert, is going to review this wonderful car. Wayne, it's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Now, let's see. Not sure how to make this transition, but I want to say it's an honor to make a presentation to the Mac Friends user group, the Naples Mac Friend user group, because it's such a strong organization. I enjoy doing these presentations because in preparation, I learn so much about the topic. I might otherwise not dig into it like that. And it becomes difficult to know, to decide what to include and what to not include. But looking forward to this, and I've asked Eckhart Gotha, who is our vice president, to share some of his experiences, because he's had the Tesla longer than I have had the Tesla. Jeff Bohr is also a longtime Tesla owner. I tried to hook up with him. I'm not sure if he's on. I hope he is. All right, so I have got to share screen, share the desktop, and not share that. here we are. Oh, and in addition, any other Tesla owners that may be attending today's meeting, I'd ask you to cue in on the comments about your own experience in the Q&A. Today, we're going to cover 3 Tesla topics: owning the Tesla, driving the Tesla, that's the second one, buying it is a unique experience, and then taking it on a trip, tripping with your Tesla. I'd ask you to hold the questions to the end of each of these topics and use chat, as Cheetah mentioned at the introduction, to queue up the questions. And Cheetah will coordinate the Q&A side. If you would now, just kind of in the chat, identify yourself as an owner or a potential owner, so we can kind of get an idea of the audience with regard to who has had a lot of experience with a Tesla. Buying a Tesla, this is the first section. First impressions, especially when I took a test drive, was this thing is fast. It is really fast. It's quiet. Not the internal combustion engine that you're listening to, or ICE cars, as we call them, as Tesla owners call them, ICE. Young people that I'm around when I in the car, they get a chance to ask questions, they don't stop. They just keep asking questions. They are extremely interested in the Tesla and electric vehicles in general, or EVs. Some of the seniors have kind of a standoffish approach to it. It's a big change, and it's a difficult change at times for some people. It's a totally different experience in buying one. There's no big dealership rooms, and we'll get into how you buy a Tesla in a second. Is it a change? It certainly is. Is it risky? You know, it's risky if you haven't prepared yourself to make a significant change in what you've been doing. For me, for like 55, 60 years, driving a vehicle, a combustion engine vehicle. The first thing I saw about the Tesla that I was impressed with, being a former naval aviator, is that it is beautifully designed inside and out, particularly the outside. This is a quote from the Tesla website. It says, Tesla Model S uses a streamlined body, minimalist grille, aerodynamic mirrors, hidden door handle, rear diffusers to give it its teardrop shape, such a low drag coefficient. In other words, this car just cuts through the air. It reduces resistance to the air. As a result, it increases its range. And in the design of the Tesla, it's all about range. We got to get onto the showrooms. The showrooms are kind of unique. I visited a few in Southwest Florida, South Florida, and they are typically in fashion malls, high-end malls. And coincidentally, they're always in the same mall that is Apple Store is. Certainly not every Apple Store mall has a Tesla store, but it's a common thing. If there's a Tesla store in there, I've always seen a Apple Store. So it made it easy for me to go shopping, both places. You purchase direct from the Tesla headquarters, and it's that was a unique experience. There's no local guy creating the paper or girl creating the paperwork or the financing or this or that. It's all done through Fremont, California. Maybe soon to be Austin, Texas. If you order one, you're going to order and you're going to wait. And the wait can be long, especially for the type of vehicles that aren't even built yet. But demonstrators and used vehicles that are available through the Tesla network, Tesla website. You can get those faster. Might be delivery charge or you travel to wherever it might be. And I want to show you the website. And I want to get in on the Model Y, go over here to the menu. And this website, this is there where you can access what inventory is out there, either locally or nationally, what used opportunities there are. You could put in your information about your trade. If you want to trade your vehicle in, they will give you, they gather the information and give you a number pretty quickly. How you can arrange for a test drive. And then these are, this goes into the future vehicles, and I want to show you these vehicles. Maybe I should. This is the Cybertruck. This is, these are prototypes are around, they're being made now. And it is, as you see, a different experience. This is going to be an enormous demand, and they're beginning to build them very soon. It might be a year or two by the time you'll be able to get your hands on one. This is the Roadster, and it is a speed demon. As you can see on the bottom, it says right here, 1.9 seconds, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and you go from 0 to 60 miles an hour. And that's a lot of compression on your back against the seat. It is fast. Don't have any of these that I know of built. 250 miles an hour. And then finally, the other vehicle that's happening, and these have been seen in the wild, is the semi trucks, the transportation type trucks. These are going to be built in Sparks, Nevada. Get back to the, well, I'll tell you, I'll go right to the Model Y here. So this is the car I bought. It's the color. It's the dark, the 20-inch tires, and it's a crossover vehicle from the 3 to the, I'll get rid of this guy. From the Model 3 to the Model Y. It has range of 326. What essentially that means is that's under the absolute perfect EPA conditions. And it's a 4-wheel drive. I live in the fall and in the early winter up in Buffalo, New York. So I need that for snow. I need 4-wheel drive. This is a structure, and you can see here, these 2 pans are full of batteries. That's where the batteries sit under the cockpit. And this here is an opening. It's a clear glass opening there, and there. Only thing you see is these 2 bars. You look up and you look at the sky. This is the interior, the seating area. And this Model Y has a 7-seat option. This is, I don't have the 7-seat. And it gives me a lot of room to put things in. Keep going. Dual motor I mentioned. It's not as fast as the Roadster. It's about 4 seconds or more when to go to 60 miles an hour. This is emphasizing the average charge is 15 minutes at a supercharger. And we'll talk about those in a bit. There's 25,000 of these superchargers around the world. There's plenty of them. The future of driving is depicted here on the vehicles that Tesla's building. It's I have autopilot, and there's another feature called full service autopilot. And I don't have that yet. It's a $10,000 option, but that's the option that says you can get in the car and say, take me home. And if you're 1 mile away or 10 miles away, it'll take you home. All you got to do is put your hand on the steering wheel, not control it, just to make it's, you're telling the car you're awake, and it'll drive you there. Here's the unique experience of the Tesla, and that is when I got in and I looked at the steering wheel and looked through the steering wheel to see the gauges. There are none. There's not a gauge on that. There's not a knob on that. There's like no buttons, very few buttons, I should say. So it's all controlled here by the touch panel. 1/3 of it on the left is the driver information with regard to what your speed is, what your conditions of the car are, and what if you're changing gears, that P on the top is park. And then this is the navigation side. Underneath is menus where you can do all kinds of adjustments, and there's a lot of adjustments and a lot of hidden things that if you study the car in advance, you'll learn all about them and make the transition easier. I got the long range one. I want to expand this list to get into a comparison, and I want to compare it to both the Model S here, which is the more established one. I don't know, Eckhart, do you have an S or an X?
I have a Model X.
X, okay.
X, but you don't show the.
Yeah.
No.
The Model S is, this one's a long range one. You can see it's 80,000. This is a base model is 52,000. And then the Model 3, which is on the same frame as the Y, is 40,000. And then you start adding some options. All-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive only. Now, one of the options on that S just came out, and they're taking orders on and building them now, is the Plaid. And the Plaid is quite a bit more, and it is very fast. It's that 1.99 seconds, similar to the Roadster that's not even built yet. Mine is 4.8 seconds, and this is 5.3 seconds. So I've got to get back into the these models are built in Fremont, California, which was the original factory. Sparks, Nevada for the semi. The Orient is handled by Shanghai, China facility that's operating. Berlin is going to handle Europe. Actually, it's Brandenburg, I understand. The road that goes through the Brandenburg Gate to get there. Berlin is going to handle the European market. Buffalo has been a solar factory for Tesla, but it's changing now. It's going to have a significant self-drive vehicle that's not even completely designed yet. And then Austin, Texas is going to make a lot of the Y models like I have. The Y model has been a very good seller. Buying a Tesla is again a unique experience, but the price is market driven, and it changes. It responds to the market. The base price changes less often, but it goes up and it goes down as the market dictates. The options, on the other hand, they kind of are normally increased as they get more precisely developed in as far as the software. These are software only options, these two on the right. This came right off my iPhone. And the performance one makes it go faster from 4.8 to 4.2 seconds. I run it in what's called the chill mode, which is even lower than the standard mode, the 4.8, because I don't need the speed. This full self-driving capability, that's the one that says, take me home, and it'll drive you all the way home. It's a significant amount for that option. But on the other hand, there are times when I wish I had it actually, for one reason or another. Again, there's no window stickers on any of this stuff, but that's all these two are strictly software downloads. That's why I put a Wi-Fi access point in my garage ceiling so that it comes down. And just a half an hour ago, I downloaded this month's, every other month, I think they have software updates. They just came out today and I downloaded it. Trade-in is, by the way, the price on the sticker prices are pretty much it. Not much negotiation as far as the sticker price goes. Trade-ins, if you're going to trade it in, they're not in the business of selling anybody else's car but Tesla. So if you're turning in any other manufactured car, you're not going to get a good price. Low wholesale value. The salesman said to me, "Why don't you go to CarMax?" I bought mine at Coconut Point in the Southwest Florida area at the mall there. And of course, you take the hit if you sell it to CarMax because you can get the differential for sales tax, and that's what you would pay if you traded it in. I do it that way. I prefer that. But they reduce the price by the sales tax amount too. They know. There had been electric vehicle EV credits provided by the federal, by the IRS, but there was a certain amount, pretty much on most of the manufacturers, a limitation after the first 50,000 or 500,000. But they all ran out, from what I understand, or almost all ran out. Certainly at Tesla it did. But there is a bill in Congress to renew that for many cars, and it is as much as $10,000 or $12,500, the additional $2,500 if your car happens to be built by Union American factory. So that's buying a Tesla. It's time for any questions. And Sheeta, this is where you can coordinate that. Any other, Eckert, do you have any comments about buying the Tesla?
Not really. You know, I live in Ocala now. At the time when I purchased my car, actually I leased it, was in September of 2019 at the Waterside shopping mall in Naples, which is less than a mile from where I used to live. It was very easy. They had a sales lady there. She went online with me. I placed the order online. All they needed was really an email address to create an account and a passcode and a credit card, and off I went. When I ordered the car, they wanted a down payment. I forgot how much it was, maybe $400 or something. Ordered the car. The delivery was within 3 weeks. I had to pick it up in near in Fort Lauderdale, but the sales lady actually drove me there, so I didn't have to rent a car to pick up my new Tesla. The sales lady from the Waterside store drove me all the way to Fort Lauderdale. We had a very nice conversation, and I picked up the car there, and that was all. It went very smoothly, and it was 3 weeks between the time I first entered the store and I picked up the car.
Thank you.
I have a question about that. You say that when you ordered it, you put like a $400 down payment?
Yes.
So when do you start paying for the vehicle?
They wanted they had some options. They wanted, as I leased the car, they wanted a substantial down payment, and that had an impact on the monthly lease rates. I think I paid down $25,000, and I transferred the money. I don't even remember how I did it. Probably sent them a check, did a money transfer, and then they the $400 then was offset against became part of my down payment, and then they started charging me a monthly lease fee I can tell you the Model X, the way I bought it, with the full driving thing, the $10,000 expense, I think the total amount was roughly $92,000. And I think my monthly lease rate right now is $692. I found out that the financial charge, the interest rate is 5%, which is much higher than the normal bank rate these days. But there was no way to use any other banking institution for the lease of the car. I had to go through Tesla, and they insist upon the 5%. So that was a negative in a way, I thought, but I didn't want to go out and buy the car. My principle is always to lease automobiles so that in a few years I can go end the lease and get a new car. But overall, the experience was very smooth, no problems. Everything went according to plan. And any other questions?
Yes, and I don't know if you can answer this, Eckert, but when you purchase a car, so I actually want to get back to that. When you order the car, you pay the $400 down payment. Then is the car delivered to you, or is there another payment if you purchase the car instead of leased it? I guess I'm asking, are you ordering this thousands of dollars car and then don't have to pay for it until it shows up at your door, or do you have to pay for it beforehand? Wayne, anyone who purchased a Tesla, can you answer that?
I could say that I was fortunate to get the one they had in inventory in the Fort Myers Center. There's like a repair facility up there. They had this car up there. It had like 300 miles on it. I purchased it straight. I mean, I traded in, and so my car, I paid the difference, and I bought the car in 4 hours. From the time I said I'll take it, and 4 hours later I had the car because it was March 31st, and they said after March 31st there'll be no more purchases at least for a month, if not longer, 2 months for the Y. So I wanted to get it.
All right. Dick Shapiro, can you answer this question for me? Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I just got my car yesterday. I put $100 non-refundable deposit down a couple months ago. Could not really find a used car anywhere with inventory within a reasonable amount of mileage to transport it. So anyways, I waited till I got the VIN number. And then with the VIN number, I transferred funds and paid for the car. When I picked it up, everything was paid for, taxes and everything else. The only thing I haven't paid for yet is I have temporary tags on it, and I've got to put my Florida tags on it. But it's an interesting experience because in ordering the car, you order the model you want, you give you your paint options, the interior options, the motor options, self-drive option, and you just click it, tell you what you owe, and then that's it. And I ordered a new one only because I didn't feel like waiting for used, and it was not that much more because the used car prices are up now.
All right. Thank you very much.
May I add one comment? Because I'm so excited about the Model X. When my wife needed a new car, I convinced her to order a Model Y. This was in September of this past year. And we picked it up, we purchased it and paid as Dick did. I mean, Dick Shapiro just mentioned, we just got the VIN number and paid for it. Then my wife decided a week later that she really didn't like the Y. And she was disappointed. It was too computerized, and she was unhappy. So she took the car back to the Waterside store, and she returned the car, and within a few days we got the full amount back. So there are no questions asked, no hassle. She just returned the car and we got our money back. So I just wanted to share that experience with you.
All right, thank you, Eckert. Dale, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm curious about the need to order the extended range versus the standard range. Is it worth the additional money?
the, I think the Y I heard, if it's a Y you're interested in, they don't have anything but the extended range one now. That's, but the S, I mean, the 3 may be different. And the more range, the better.
May I also ask, make a comment on that question? When I purchased the car, the distance between Naples and Ocala, where I now live, is 275 miles. The range of my car is roughly 330 miles, the long range. So I picked the long range because I thought I drive frequently between Naples and Ocala. I want to be able to go there nonstop. Then I found out that because I'm not driving at 70 miles an hour, I'm driving at 78 miles an hour, the range goes down from 325 to maybe 280 or 270. So if I drive at that speed and I don't stop for a recharge, I arrive at my target with an empty battery. So I decided, although I do have the long range, I always stop in between Naples and Ocala and Sarasota. There's a supercharger. In fact, my GPS system, my navigation system suggests, when they know which route I'm taking, that I should stop there and do the recharge. So now that I've that experience, I've concluded I really didn't need the extra range because I never use it. I could have lived with a shorter range and saved some money, but not that much. I think it's $2,000 or so, and I would not have had any problems. But this is an experience that you find out, and that's, I think, a personal experience, and depending on your driving style and so forth.
All right. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Edgar.
Edgar. Mitch, you have a question?
Hello. Yeah, I have one comment and a question. The comment is I have a friend that has a Y, and one of the things that I thought was rather fascinating that he told me is that he, just for fun, he pulled into a golf course and it was about 90 out, and he left the air conditioner on in his car for about 3 hours. He said he used something like 30 or 40 miles of range, but when he came out, his car was 75 degrees. And I thought that was rather interesting. But my question is the $10,000 really worth it for the self-driving feature when I understand that that really is not in full play? And I was told, don't waste your money, just get it when it is.
I'll answer that, Mitch. This is Wayne. My sense is that if you need that option, you need that option for one reason or another. Maybe there's some capability that you don't have to drive the car properly, or you're very tired, or you stayed at the 19th hole a little too long. You can use that feature to make life easy, to get yourself back to whatever your destination is. And it doesn't make much sense now, but especially when you get older and you get real tired and so on, it's nice to have that feature. You have to stay awake. You're not going to go to sleep. Ask the people in Texas that did it, and they whatever happened to them, they hit a house at 125 miles an hour and they're both gone.
Oh.
But and that was their mistake. But it's a big feature, but if you need it, you can get it for $10,000.
All right, John Lane, you have a question.
Unmute me. I'm interested in the financial calculations with purchasing one of these vehicles. I am quite seriously thinking about it, especially the 7-seater. And I've heard Eckhart talk about the lease, which was, I think his number he quoted was 92,000. On top of that, were you doing a monthly lease fee? And the other part of the question is, normally you can lease, but most organizations allow a direct purchase. Well, my question actually, is there a lease purchase or a purchase lease one can get from Tesla?
This is Wayne. I don't have an answer to that. I never did look into leasing, but Eckhart may have a response.
Yeah, I think there are several options. I think I can pay out the lease right now, and I would regain the financial charge that I would otherwise pay.
Oh, okay.
So yes, that option exists. And in fact, at the end of the lease, which is in September of 2022, I think the remaining value that I would have to pay is roughly 45, or maybe between 45 and $50,000, and I have then the option to purchase the car, paying that particular amount, or just return the car and lease a new one.
Okay, so do you think it's advantageous? I'm looking at net present values here of the vehicle, whether it's which is the best, which was the most financially the best financial way to go, lease or purchase it. That's what I'm looking at the moment, especially after listening to Eckhart. So I'm interested in any advice in that area. If anybody's done those sort of calculations, I'd be interested in that, because I'm about to start that.
Well, this is Wayne. I've got to say that this is kind of outside of the presentation, and
okay, my apologies.
Yeah, it would be, we could get into that and not waste, but take up the rest of the presentation. And I got some other things I want to talk about. So
All right.
Eckhart, I'm sure, would be available to talk to you about that.
All right. Don, do you have a quick question?
Yeah, these superchargers, you say you can charge in 15 minutes. That's if there's not somebody there using the charger ahead of you. Are there lots of them there? Have you had to ever wait?
We could talk. We have a section on that very shortly.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Wayne, all yours.
All right. So how did I get here? Questions. Okay. Owning and driving is the next section. Boy, the Q&A took as long as the presentation side. Someone mentioned it feels like driving a computer. I've heard that many times. And other people have said it's like an iPhone on wheels. It's a completely different experience. It's jam-packed with features. The Tesla it's just loaded with things that and options that you don't really know you had unless you get into it. And you must get to know your vehicle. Watch the introductory videos that Tesla has. The YouTube video is, the ones that are created by individuals are excellent. And there is a manual. It's a very detailed manual. It's online or it's on the Tesla touch screen. Here I want to show you a few videos with regard to how the Tesla operates. And the first one I want to show you is something that was being talked about here. And that's keeping the car cool. So this is a woman that's at work. She wants to keep the car cool cool down the car before she leaves to get into the car. The car is at a charger, and it's a destination charger. A destination charger is typically one that is at a restaurant or at work, or even at a parking ramp someplace in downtown environment, and she's going to control her car from there. I just want to stop it for a second. She's going to hit the climate, and she's going to hit the controls to look at her level of charge. It says it has 15 minutes remaining, and for the charge that you requested to be complete. And there are 262 miles now available on this Model 3. And then she'll get into the controls and change the temperature. The next one is, how do you get in and out of the car? The primary key for the Teslas are your iPhone or your smartphone. And that's how you get in. You just put it in your pocket, you walk to the car is unlocked as you approach it, and there is no key, and it turns itself on. With that one, that Tesla card is you get 2 cards per car, and that's an option for you and your wife. You could, both your iPhones can work in the car, but also a valet feature in case someone else wants to drive the car. And by the way, there is a valet setting that makes the car only go so fast and so far, keeps it local. So let's get back to the next one. This lift gate shows you how you can operate the lift gate in 3 different ways. That's the touch screen. You just hit it, pop it the back, and the back goes up. The front's got the same feature. I'll show you that later. And the other way is through your phone. Now I'm just going to insert in here, about a week ago, I didn't realize how easy it was to adjust it. And I should have adjusted it because I was showing my kids the capability. I said, come on, we'll go in the car and I'll lower it before we drive out from inside. And we had a discussion, I forgot to lower it and I crunched it. So I'm in the Tesla collision process right now.
What did you crunch?
I crunched the lift gate.
Oh, okay.
The lift gate is made of aluminum, and once it's easy to, doesn't take much to impact and crunch it, but once you do that, it has to be replaced. And just like anything that's a special order right now, delivery is strung out because of the cause on the distribution systems around the country and around the world with regard to product.
So there's nothing on the Tesla that automatically would have lowered your gate when it saw the garage door coming.
See, oh yes, there is. Oh no, oh yeah, I should have gotten in and just hit close the lift gate, close the trunk, and it would have closed.
But it doesn't it wouldn't automatically react to it.
No, no, there are. It doesn't know what I'm thinking, so unfortunately, it doesn't know yet. Unless I was thinking about some kind of sensors in my brain, but we'll see.
So it doesn't hook up to your brain. Okay.
Yeah, that was the front access. You could put your luggage in the front because there is no motor in there. Go back over here, and that was the front. Now, this is the navigate on autopilot, and this is the full featured autopilot. This is one where the woman gets into the car. It says, I want to go to a local park, a nearby park, and it navigates her. Once she gets to the entrance, it automatically merges, changes lanes, and goes on the right exit. And that's a big plus for people at times, especially when you're going to Miami at that can of worms across Alligator Alley.
But she needs to have her hands on the wheel, correct?
Yes, you got to have at least one hand on the wheel. And I want to stop it here because this voice activated navigation is way better than Siri. Way better than Siri. It gets it right almost every time. When I say certain things to Siri, it says, okay, you're talking about Johannesburg, South Africa. Is that where you want to go? So this is much better. Hands on the wheels.
Does it notify you right away if you take your hands off the wheel?
Right here, you'll see it. That's a lane change. And
Wayne, what happens if you decide all of a sudden, I really don't want to take this exit? Can you just literally grab the steering wheel and start going in another lane?
all you got to do is touch the brake. Touch the brake and it's all yours. The autopilot goes off.
Thank you.
All right.
So you have
So
You have to touch the brake.
yes, you have to tap the brake, right. And there might be another way, but I just hit the brake, lightly, and it disengages. A lot like normal cruise controls. Here's one that's auto park. This is a feature of the full featured autopilot. And the woman approaches the space and the car senses that, and then it goes into, she engages the parking auto park mode.
Is that part of the cheaper program or the more expensive?
This is the full featured autopilot.
The $10,000 one.
Yeah, 10,000.
You do or do not have that on your car.
Got her fingers on the steering wheel.
You don't have that, right? Or you do?
I don't have that, no.
Eckert, did you have it?
Yes, I do.
Have you used it?
I never use it or hardly ever use it because there's always so much parking space in Naples and Ocala. I tested it, so it does work. I also tested the autopilot, the auto drive, and as Wayne says, I either put the foot on the brake if I want to change, or I just turn the wheel, the steering wheel, and that will also change automatically to stop the auto drive, the autopilot.
Are there,
Okay,
Wayne,
right.
are there sounds that go off? Or is this all?
There's a strong vibration. If
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
right. I see what you're saying. Yeah, if you do something that's different than what the autopilot wants, it's going to shake the steering wheel a little bit, and you have to force it into where you want to go. But I
How
just tap the brake.
How tight of a space will it park you into?
You have to ask Eckert because I don't do it. I'm not sure. I
No,
can get into some small spaces. Let me tell you.
No, it's very good. I think measures very well, and it gets into very tight spaces. I can attest to that. It does.
All right. Betty, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes, thank you. I saw in the autopilot video that she used her turn signal to get off on that exit. Do you have to do that, or shouldn't it automatically just turn the turn signal on?
I don't have it, but my sense is it's going to drive to the exit. It's going to drive you right to the exit. At least from what my sense is about the full featured autopilot.
But it should signal other drivers that you are getting off at that exit.
Oh yeah, yes. It applies the brake lights when it's slowing down. If it's reducing speed, it applies the brake lights, and the brake lights go on in the back. It applies the brakes, and the brake lights go on in the back.
Okay, plus the turn signal then. Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
sense.
thank you.
Yeah, Dan Wazink responded to that in the chat if you want to take a look, Betty. All right, go ahead, Wayne.
We go. This is the gear selection. It's simple stuff, but there's a feature that I want to show you on this. There's only 3 gears: neutral, drive, and reverse. Now I stopped it here because this is a sensor. It's telling you right here how many inches you are away from whatever the sensor picked up, that it's next to the car. But I pull into my garage and I watch for 20 inches. That gives me exactly enough room in the front and the back of the car in order to load the car or to walk around the front of it. And I've used it all the time. I've been wanting a sensor like that.
Wayne, can that be set to automatically do that?
No. Not that I know of. And let's see. Okay, now I want to just get into charging on this. And there are 3 general types of chargers. There's the home charger. An example is right outside of my garage here is this charging device that I purchased from Tesla. It was $500. And I added the 220, 240 line from my circuit breaker panel. And I take that at night and I plug it right into the back of the car here, and it works perfectly. I scheduled it for 11:15 at night, any night I want to put it in, and plug it in. And that's when in New York State, the the rate is significantly less with regard to using electricity. And I pay like 20% of what the normal rate would be if I had charged it during the day. And it turns out to
long?
be, it depends on how much it has to charge. I always charge it to like 65, 70%. And it charges I only drive about 40, 50 miles a day. So it charges in an hour at the most.
Is that
You
a
know,
quick charge? Is that an extra?
no,
quick
that's not a supercharger. It's not a quick charger. It's a wall charger that Tesla sells for $500
So you have to buy that in order to charge yourself.
at your house. No, you don't have to. Now, and I'll show you that in a little bit later. We saw a destination charger for the people that were in the office. The lady that was in the office, that's a destination charger. They typically happen at restaurants or sometimes hotels and so on and so forth. They're trying to attract your business. That's the home charger. Then the traveling superchargers, you'll see an example of all three of these.
You cannot buy a supercharger.
No, you don't want to be. So this guy's got that device that was hanging on my wall, comes close to it, he presses the top, and this is a access port. You can also touch it by hand, and then you'll get into the connection device. Now, when it connects, it'll go, I think it starts out white, then it goes blue because it's setting up the charge, communicating between the electricity and the vehicle, and then it goes to green, blinking, which is charging.
And there's no worry about the garage door being up or down.
Don't talk to me about the garage door.
Frank, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes. Can you use a regular 110 volt outlet in case you cannot have 240 volt in your garage?
I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Yes. Can you use a regular 110 volt outlet to charge it? Because I cannot get 240 volt line in my garage.
You can use 100. I can't get in my Florida home. I can't get 110 volts because I'm in a condo, and I just had an electrician look at it yesterday, and he said you can't do it. You got to get the homeowners association to agree to doing certain things. But 110 can charge, but it charges very slowly. It's like 4 miles an hour. So if you want to go 40 miles, get enough charge so you can get to a Tesla supercharger, that's a good way to do it. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. And often it pops my circuit breaker, so I got to deal with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is the guy's garage, and now we're going to go. This is a destination charger in an office, and that's a supercharger on the road. And I visited a number of them in the past couple of months because I drove that 1,500 miles from Southwest Florida to upstate New York, Buffalo, Niagara Falls area.
How much time do you think you spent charging?
I know exactly how. Oh, what happened there?
You click pages.
There we go. I know exactly how much time but in general, there's a comment I put in the notes here. It's about an increase of 10 to 15%, depending upon your approach to going from one charger to the other, and we'll get into that. So, any other questions about owning and driving the car?
All right. Yes. First, Alan, can you unmute yourself and ask your questions?
Well, you said earlier that you only charge it to 65% when you're at home. Why don't you charge it to 100%?
Because a number of the information I saw with regard to reading the manual and watching YouTube videos and getting an education on it says that it's not good to charge your batteries all the way to 100%. If you don't need that high charge, just charge it to whatever you're going to use. So I usually hang around 65, 70%. And some people stick at 50% if they're only going to go 50 to 100 miles or more each day. But if you're going to go on the road, the night before I took off from Southwest Florida at 3:30 in the morning, I charge it to 100%. There is one other comment about that. Superchargers charge very quickly to 50%, and then they slow down the charge because they don't want to overheat the batteries. And as you're heating that battery up and charging it, it reduces the useful life of the battery a little bit.
Another question, is there a charge when you go to a supercharge station?
When you buy your Tesla, you give them a credit card, and the credit card includes purchases like for that wall charger that I bought in the garage and for supercharging. And that brings me, and whenever I used a referral to an individual that referred me to Tesla, and I gave him the referral, and he got 1,000 miles of free charging, and so did I. And I'll show you my referral at the end of the presentation, so that if anybody does want to buy one and you don't have anybody else to give it to, I'll take it the 1,000 miles, and you get 1,000 miles. But after that, it's a per kilowatt charge, and you're charged for it, and it varies. It's different in every location and every state. In general, my sense is it's about close to $1 less than what it would be per gallon for fuel, especially in today's rates. And when I do it in the house here, it's like 86 cents a gallon for what a gallon of gas would have taken me in my other car.
Jim Corsica, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Hi, Wayne. This is very interesting. And I have a question about expenses, and I can see that there's a wide variety of expenses based on location. I would suspect that most of your charging is done at home. Have you done a before and after comparison of what it has done to your electric bill?
I put in this charger about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I haven't really gotten a bill. But I mentioned earlier, I did arrange for a special meter to be changed out tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And it's going to take that, and it's going to be about 15% of what the normal charge rate would be during the day if I charge during the off hours of 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. with National Grid here in upstate New York.
I wonder if Eckert has a comment on this. Eckert, have you done a before and after comparison?
Well, first of all, when I purchased my car, I got a deal. Everybody else got it at that time. I don't have to pay for the supercharger. So when I go to the supercharger, it's absolutely free. And here in Ocala, where I do also install a special connection for my 240 volt connection to my car, we don't have a differential. We pay a straight flat rate for our power consumption. We don't have any advantages charging the car at night. And I'm beginning to measure it now, but I don't have a precise result. But I do feel, because I was brought up to save money where I can. I do feel I should make the trip from time to time. It's a 15-minute trip to the supercharger and spend maybe 30 minutes to charge up my car there. Because why should I spend the electricity at home when I can use the supercharger for free?
How did you get that deal?
Well, that's at that time in September of 2019, anyone who purchased a car at that time would get free use of supercharger. The funny thing is that Tesla, they change their policies from time to time. And they may go back with a new model to reintroduce the free use of a supercharger. But I have it for the life of my car.
Ooh, that's
That's
great.
sweet. That's
Cool.
It's like being at the right place at the right
right
time.
time. Right.
Well,
Can you
they looked at my age and they figured I wouldn't live that long. So that's why they gave it to me.
Eckert, can you transfer that to everybody on the board
Yeah.
or everybody in the Mac group?
Wayne, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do
No
you have
answer.
any more? Do you have any more slides?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Here we go. So this is now I'd like to talk about the road trip and how I plan for the road trip. There are 2 apps that I whittled it down to. There's probably 10 different ways of doing this, but there's something called the Better Route Planner that many of the YouTube people encourage use of. And there is the Tesla Go Anywhere website, which you can sit there in the evening and figure out how you're going to approach the trip for 1,500-mile run. Now, a Better Route Planner makes you stop more frequently. It takes advantage of that concept of it charges to 50% very quickly, and then it starts slowing down. And it says their idea was to take less time at the supercharger, but stop more often. The Go Anywhere pretty much goes to as far as you can go on a strong charge of 25 to 45 minutes, and you stop less. I prefer the less stops, and I use the Go Anywhere. I use this on the first day, going to upstate New York, Better Route Planner, and then I use Go Anywhere. And in any case, a long trip is based upon one supercharger stop after another. And I'll show you quick examples of these. So this is, I put in a plan to go back to Southwest Florida. And on the first day, I would travel using the route, this Better Route Planner, and it planned the stops. And started in upstate New York near Niagara Falls. I go to this location, which is Grove City, and then south of Pittsburgh, and then in Virginia somewhere, and then in West Virginia, and that's Beckley, and then on to Wyethville, where there is a hotel and a supercharger, and I would stay overnight. They provide you with a lot of details about how to get it. And it's hard maybe to manipulate this, but this is how you get off, go to the charger and get back on and continue your trip. It shows that this is a Sheets location. That's what that means. And then all the things a lot of amenities are included here. It shows you where you could stay overnight if you wanted to. This is how far it is. This is walking distance away. And Sheets is a Pennsylvania and West Virginia store that is primarily a gas station, but they got a lot of features. It's a 150 kilowatt supercharger, and the Type 3 ones are 250. It's might be nice to get a 250, but it's not all that important to design your trip around that. I'll show you the other option is the Teslas go anywhere. And there were 4 stops. I wanted to bring that out on the first one. And this is the same. Whoop, where'd it go? Here it is. This is the same route, identical route, but there's only 3 stops. I like 3 stops. It says the first stop is Cheektowaga, New York, which is my local supercharger, but I don't need to go for 5 minutes because I have it already. Well, in any case, here they are. 1, 2, 3, 3 stops. That's less time. It showed that we're about 50 minutes and the first 2 total. Maybe, I can't remember. I lost it now. Get route. 25 to 60 minutes and then a 15-minute. The other one showed a total of like 60 minutes. So you have an extra 15 minutes, but I like the idea of stopping less. All right, we'll get back into this. Whatever you do, don't run out of a don't run out of your charge. Plan to have a minimum of 10% in your battery left at any stop. That gives you a little buffer in case, for whatever reason, you get off track. If you do run out, this is what's going to happen here in the picture, and that's pretty much a $500 invoice, because all that's doing is picking you up wherever you are short of the supercharger, 3 miles. Get on they come out, pick you up, and they drop you off at the supercharger. That doesn't make any sense.
There's no trucks.
Pardon?
No trucks out there with superchargers attached?
Superchargers are really high-powered devices.
Okay.
And they're hard to make it mobile. Now, I wanted to make the comment that Don Peacock and I know as Navy pilots, running out of fuel can ruin your whole day when you're in aviation. So it's the same with a supercharger. This is a backup plug site. It has superchargers in it, but it has other chargers that you would be able to use if you had your travel pack, and every Tesla has a travel charging cable. I put in Naples here, and the supercharger in Naples is in the Bayfront area and Bayfront Place. You click on it, you see this application come up, and it shows a variety of things, but it shows, I like pictures because I can then see where is it? What's the environment? And I can see that it's underneath some kind of a parking ramp or something. And they show different ones of what they have, how they charge their cars, and the number of cars. By the way, the question about waiting, of all the 30 or 40 superchargers that I've been at since I got the car, I had to wait at 1. And another guy pulled up next to me and he said, "Do you believe this? This is the first supercharger that I've ever had to wait at." And I said, "How long you hit your car?" 3 years. This is the first one I ever had to wait at. One of the other things about supercharging, maybe it doesn't bother Eckert, but it bothers me, and that is once the car is charged and you monitor it on your app or in the car, and it gets charged, and the stalls are full or almost full, if it's more than 50%, all of a sudden, 5 minutes after the charge is completed and that thing is still connected, you're paying $1 an hour. And I like that because they want you to get the heck out of there and let the other people charge their car. So this is the plug share, but also shows superchargers, but this is the plug share down in, or this is the plug share app showing the Tesla superchargers in Naples. Um, Get that? Yeah, okay. So here's accessories that were recommended by a variety of sources online while you're taking a long road trip. A tire repair kit, that's this slower thing. And it's a Tesla device, and it includes two things. An air pump, you connect to the Tesla powers that itself. You connect into the USB or the USB-C connection. And then here is a canister that includes the sealant that you shoot into your tire through the air that seals up the puncture that you have. Might be a nail or something, or a screw. Seals it up so that you can drive to one place, and that is the place that you get the closest place you can get the tire fixed. There are no spares in Teslas. There are no spares in many of the new cars nowadays. They're getting rid of that, and this is what you use. There's this Tesla mobile charger, comes with every Tesla, and that you can use that either in your garage, like we were talking about earlier, and that's the one that'll get you 4 miles an hour if you plug it into a 110. And it comes with a 110 adapter. Some people put in 220, 240 line and have the NEMA adapter, NEMA 1450 adapter connection for the mobile charger, and they use that at their house. They don't buy the supercharger device that Tesla sells. They just buy the adapter, and you put a plug in, and it's a common plug, a NEMA 1450 plug for 240. Or some people buy the one that hooks up the clothes dryer lines. If you got it, and you can get to it with a longer extension cord, you can use that to charge your car. You pull out the electric dryer plug and plug in with a 1430 adapter, and you can use that to charge your car. And then you always have an extra 25-foot line just in case you pull up and some guy's blocking your access to the charger. And this is not at a supercharger. They have a problem doing that, but and you can extend it and charge your car slowly, but you can charge it. We'll go on here.
All right, Wayne,
Yes.
if you could wrap up quickly, it is 12:45.
Okay. So let's see. I want to hit the points. Average supercharge. We talked about a lot of these things already. This is the nav app. I'd like to show that. Nothing there. I think this is the most important thing to show. And that is this is out of Canada, Simcoe, about 2 years old.
Wayne, does this operate when you're driving?
Say that, say again?
Does this map allow you to do all of this while you're driving? Your screen in the car?
Um, you know, when you're planning going to a destination, it's probably best just to do it then while you're setting up. It can very quickly you could very quickly put the information in that's necessary, and it'll get you there. It'll navigate right to the place you're driving. This is not a full featured function. It's all the cars have it.
Okay,
And
sir.
Okay.
We do have something that Dan Wozink would like to show. Dan, I mean, sorry, not Dan, but Wayne, do you want to continue?
Yeah, I just want to mention that this Tesla navigation is a perfect combination of hardware and software. It's something that Apple could never accomplish because it doesn't have control over the hardware. It has certain ramifications that the manufacturers are required to do, but they take it from there. So this is a better feature than CarPlay is. And they also, on this nav app, show you how many stalls are open, not only how many chargers they have, but how many are open. This talks about the things that was mentioned: speed, terrain, temperature, and weather conditions can affect your distance or range. Quickly, I have this right here. This is a USB connection in the glove compartment. They come with the car, and I set it up in the app that when I beep my horn, that thing's going to take a picture of everything around the car. And then this is one last feature that I think everybody should see because it's really unique. It's about 1.5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, that's good.
It's Palo Alto.
All right.
Okay.
If Dan has something that he would like to add that enhances your presentation, Wayne, if you don't mind.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I know it.
What? Dan, are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. So I'll add on with what Wayne was talking about. What you can do with these cars is connect them up to different apps, like he talked about with a better route planner, and there's a number of different apps. I connected my car up to Teslafy.com. So Teslafy keeps track of all kinds of different information about the car. So what we'll be able to do, I'm going to log into my Teslafy and I'll share my screen, and you're going to be able to see the efficiency, all kinds of different information. We can even see the efficiency based on temperature. So you'll be able to see how the Tesla performs in all these different scenarios. So I'm going to share my screen here and we'll take a look at it. All right, everyone can see my browser, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is Teslafy here. And like I say, what it does is it communicates with my car on a continual basis outside of when the car sleeps. The car does go to sleep. But you're going to see up here at the top, my car is called joules, which is the amount of energy to produce 1 watt of power in 1 second or something like that. My doors are locked. The charger is disconnected. I'm not charging it. I have about 139 rated miles, which means Tesla says I'll go 139 miles, but really I'm only going to be able to go 121 miles, you know, all that good information there. But if we look here, I'll start out with my lifetime map. Oops, I got logged back in here.
Oh, yeah, right.
So here is going to be my lifetime map. So this is everywhere where my car has been outside of the first few months. So that's every place that I've driven it. Been down to Key West a couple of times, and actually when I visited your group there, and George and I went out to dinner, I can actually go down right to where I traveled in Naples, and there's the supercharger and that parking garage that's over there.
Right.
So during this whole time, the lifetime map, I've had 3,800 drives. I've driven 34,000 miles. My watt hour per mile, which is like a gas mileage kind of thing for electric vehicles, is 360. I use 316 watt hours per mile. The idea is it's like golf. You want a lower score than a higher score, unlike gas engines. I get about a 76% efficiency. So if my car is rated at 100 miles, I'm going to get about 75 miles out of it. My car is actually rated at 300 miles. That means I'm going to get about 225 miles out of it. And that is because of the cold weather drastically affects these batteries. This is going to be the 3rd electric car that we've had, 4th actually. We've had 2 Priuses, hybrids, and then we also have a Chevy Volt. And I can tell you from day one on our first Prius, we noticed that cold weather, batteries and cold weather do not mix. So being up here in Michigan, my efficiency is down a little bit lower. If I was down in Florida, my efficiency would be a lot higher. And as Wayne said, you go at high speeds, not good. I can see what my average speed was, the average temperature. Of course, now being if I was in Naples, which I would really like, I'd like that number to be higher. You know, I put in what the gas prices are, and it tells me how much gas I've saved, and I can actually see how much time I've driven in my car, 34 days, 8 hours. If we look at, let's see here, drives temperature efficiency. This is where I was talking about cold. When it is, you know, 15 to 20, you can see my efficiency drops to about 60 to 70%. The car absolutely loves warm weather. We can see my efficiency goes right up when it's warmer weather. Speed. There's speed efficiency here. Again, the faster I go, the lower the efficiency goes. It says here that 90, you know, I get the highest efficiency from 25 to 30. I feel it's actually probably about 30, but I guess the data doesn't lie. You know, the slower you go, the better efficient your car is going to be. So that's a interesting little graph. So if you do a lot of highway miles, you're going to get lower range. If you do not do a lot of highway miles, you're going to get higher range, you know, things like that. I have my battery report. My battery is not in the best condition compared to other people. But once you drive off that car off of the lot, you know, after about a year, the efficiency of that battery is going to drop anywhere from, you know, 5 to 7%. It doesn't drop much after that.
and this is the nature of lithium ion batteries. It is not every electric car is going to do this. But you know, after about a year, then it levels out, and you can see the green is what the fleet is, every car that this Tesla is monitoring. And you can see it just kind of starts leveling out. Mine dropped here. Right now I'm in the middle of reconditioning my battery. Basically, I charge it at different rates and this, that, and the other, and it will eventually rise up again. But you do lose, you know, a little bit of percentage within the first year, but after that, it's fine. The batteries are rated, from what I understand, up to 300,000 to 400,000 miles. So you should be able to get 300,000 to 400,000 miles out of them. The motors in these cars are rated up to 1,000,000 miles. That's from Elon Musk. So you should be able to get a million miles out of the motors. I don't know if Wayne or Eckert talked about it. You'll never have to replace the brakes. I shouldn't say never, but because you use regenerative braking, I hardly even touch the brake pedal. So theoretically, you won't have to replace the brakes. So no exhaust, no transmission, no oil changes.
You're
I've had the
right,
car
Dan.
for
That's
three.
right.
Yeah, I've had the car for 3 years, and I've washer fluid. I should replace the wipers, but that's it. And I'm
You're
sure
gonna buy a
Wayne and
gas
Eckert-
car, Dan?
What's that?
Will you ever buy a gas car again?
No, absolutely not. And there's many reasons, and I'm assuming that Wayne and Eckert would feel the same way. You know, the instant torque, it's nice, it's fun. I like roller coasters, so you get that little bit out of it. But outside of that, it's just smooth. They ride better. The no noise. You get into a regular car, and you know, you just get a lot more noise. And I'm going to say audible noise. On top of that, I get into our Volt, which is a good car. It really is it's a good car. We've had it since 2013. But I get in there, and there's so many controls on it. You know, a Tesla is minimalist, and it's so no. If it's my choice, I will never buy an electric. I mean, a regular car again.
Thanks for that. I appreciate that.
Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt. We have 1 minute left.
So anyway, I just wanted to quickly show you some of the data that you can get out of these cars. I do have to pay $5 a month for this service, but you know, it's just kind of a fun little. If you like data, there's a lot of stuff in here. So just wanted to share that.
It's $50 a year, Dan. You can save.
$60 a year. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Dan probably only spends $300 a month on apps for the car.
May I make one more comment, because, you know, I've used my Tesla now for almost 2 years. I'm really astonished, and Dan, you're a computer expert, but you know, I drive this car, I stop sometimes very abruptly, I have to, and yet the computer never fails. It reacts in nanoseconds, and normally when you have a computer, if you drop it, it stops working. If you drop your iPhone, it could stop working. You can hurt your Apple Watch. But this computer is exposed to such rugged behavior, and it always works. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that something spectacular? Yeah. I wonder.
It is. They have a lot of cameras on them, and they've gotten better. But when I first got mine, I don't know when you first got yours, but of course I've had mine 3 years. I used to say saw ghosts. You know, it would just slow down on the highway for no reason. But you know, there's something there. But it's gotten a lot better. But the computers in these things, you know, it's like Apple. They designed the chips, they build the chips. They aren't, you know, getting them from Mobileye or NVIDIA or anything like that. And much like Apple's doing with the M1, when you build your own chip, you can build it how you want it. You're not buying a generic chip off of the shelf to fit your car, which is what everyone else is doing. If anybody is really interested, they should, I would say, Google. Oh, now I can't think of his name. He's out of Detroit. He's taken apart the Model 3, the Model Y. He's taken apart right now the Mustang. And he says that, you know, as far as what Tesla is with their electronics, they are years ahead of it's military grade electronics, the computers and all that. So it fits right in what you're saying. It's just amazing what their computers can do. So,
All right, gentlemen.
George, I believe you have to take over.
Yes,
It's
yes.
the end. We've come to the end of our wonderful show here.
I'm done. Thank you.
yeah, and I don't know how to stop sharing the screen. I lost my controls, so.
I do it for you.
Okay, all right.
All right, everybody.
Thanks, Dan.